I know that you went through heartbreaking grief, and I want to
Yeah.
hear your story. I want to hear a little. I want to my listeners to hear a little bit about your story.
Thank you. So, as you've heard, my name is Sonya Dungee, and I hail from Strong Island, New York. Don't bother to check that on the map. As I always say, you'll never find it. Okay, just trust it's a strong island. Um, the reason that I sit before you this evening is because I truly believe that my dad, if you can see in the background here, Mr. John Shudrick Dundry, he left me with a gift that I didn't know he left me with in the beginning. So my story began back on, and it was in the midst of the pandemic. It was on a Saturday. It was January 23rd of 2021, 5 days short, excuse me, of my dad's 83rd birthday, mind you. Um, I was there reluctantly holding his hands 48 hours before. My dad and I were blindsided, to say the least, and told he had 6 months to live. And I held back the reaction that I really wanted to give because it wasn't ladylike. And I know that my dad wouldn't have wanted that from me either. But I found myself in that time making plans of what I was going to do and ordering a hospital bed for him and moving my furniture out of my bedroom because he was going to come stay with me. I'd already spoke to my siblings about it, and that's how it was going to be. He was going to live the best 6 months that I could possibly help him live under the circumstances. And here I find myself, not even 48 hours later, holding my dad's left hand at his bedside, watching this tear come down his cheek, and taking his last breath on this earth and his first breath in heaven. I kicked, I screamed, I hollered, I begged, I pleaded. I did all of those things because I didn't want him to go, and he was gone. And I wasn't prepared. There wasn't an instructional manual for me to know how to act. And as a direct result, I started spiraling out of control immediately. I found myself in a very dark place. I didn't use drugs. I didn't drink. I've never gotten drunk in my life, thank God. However, I was isolated. I was broken. Um, I had lost a lot of weight and didn't realize how fast that I did it. Being that it was a pandemic, it was the first time we were working from home ever in my career. And so I would work from home. I call it job. My job is what pays the bills, and my work is in my calling. So there I was doing my 7.5, 8.5 hour, whatever it was, stint a day, going back out of the shishi room, back across the living room into my bedroom, shutting the door, and just repeating the same cycle day after day. And running to the cemetery at every chance I can get because I felt maybe I could be the closest with my dad there through the walls of the Calabarium where his ashes remained. And that lasted for 342 days. And it got to a point where enough was enough. At the time, I had three children, grandchildren. Now I'm blessed with four. I wasn't spending any time with them whatsoever. My friends, my family, no one. I was thinking that I was grieving alone. And the reason was because I didn't want my children to grieve any more than they were. My son was very close to my dad. He was like a dad. And so I knew he was grieving in silence and kind of keeping it from me. And my daughter, the youngest, couldn't bear even looking at his vehicle that was parked outside of my house. And so I kept it to myself. So I thought. But when enough became enough and I realized that I could not go it alone and I needed to get some kind of help and that there was more life ahead of me than there was behind me, that day I made a conscious effort and I made that decision right then and there that I was going to invest in myself, pour into myself. I was going to find myself a mentor slash coach in a community in which I was blessed and I was able to do that. It was I made the very last appointment on December 31st that my coach had available. And in that, he promised me that if I did the work, if I was coachable, if I was teachable, if I showed up, he would help me. And I said to myself, I'm going to show him. I'm going to be teachable. I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to show him. But the reality of it was I wasn't showing him. I had to prove it to myself. I had to do it for myself. And I did it. And I never missed a class up until this day. Every class that was my class or a new class for new students that were coming in, I take that class too. And it was only because I didn't want to lose sight. I didn't want to slack off. And as a result, here I am today. I don't share this part often, but I will share it today. I heard my dad, there was just something that said, I left you a gift. Did you get my gift? And I really thought about it, and I'm like, money? The car? It was deeper than that. And the gift that my dad left me was, I went through those things for a reason. It's part of my story. And it was for me to share that gift that he left me by sharing with others that are either going in a storm, or that are coming out of a storm, to realize that there's sunshine on the other side, that it's okay not to be okay.